All right. Thank you for tuning in and listening to and watching the Real Short Box live. We are live here on YouTube tonight. It is a Monday, partying out on a Monday. With me, as always, is Mr. Kevin down there in the corner, right down there. And right below me here is a special guest, Chris Turner. Thank you for being on the show, Chris. We appreciate it. And a very special guest today, animator, comic book collector extraordinaire, Bill Buchanan. Thank you for being on, Bill.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is going to be a great one. We're going to be talking a lot about what you do and how you do it, and then also about animation as well.
That's right. I've been waiting 6 months for this interview. I've been trying to book this man for 6 months, and we finally get to talk to him.
Right, that's true. Now, real quick, I'm going to do a few things in the background here. It's going to make me look a little busy, but while I do that, Kevin, Chris, if you gentlemen could just take a moment. Bill, I'm going to ask you later about this, so keep this in mind. But if you two gentlemen, Kevin and Chris, can take a moment to just mention a few animated shows that really just kind of meant something to you, that was very special, that, you know, either growing up or now in life, you know, something seminal for you.
All right. Chris, you go first, brother.
I mean, I got to say, probably one of the animated shows that means the most to me is probably some of the simplest animation, and that'd be South Park. It was the first show that I was not allowed to watch as a child of 18. Living under my dad's roof, you can't watch that crap. So, of course, I did, and I loved it, and it was my sense of humor, and it was great. I'm glad that it's still on the air, and it's better than ever it was. So, it means a lot to me every time there's an episode. I'm like, yes, my life is complete.
Didn't you cosplay as Cartman once or something?
I did cosplay as Cartman, and then, funny enough, there was a picture revolving around the internet of a guy riding on a bus dressed as Cartman, and everyone thought it was me because it looked just like me.
I've seen that.
And I really had to think about it. I'm like, did I ride on a bus as Cartman?
Did someone take my picture? It totally looked like you did.
Because there's an episode they had, I don't know, it was like 10-ish years ago, where they had live action actors play the characters, and I made it to like the final round of auditions for that too. So as Cartman, so that was pretty fun.
Can you do the voice?
Yeah. Spit my good time.
Close enough.
There we go.
That's not bad.
There we go. Good choice, Chris. Good choice.
Yeah.
One that comes off the top of my head right away, growing up, that I certainly enjoyed, Thundercats. Especially Panthro, because, I know in some way Panthro was like a brother, and he was just an awesome character. He helped build Cat's Lair and all the equipment that they use, and those nunchucks. He was just a cool character.
Yeah.
That opener was done in Japan. And it holds up better than any opener you've ever seen to this day.
Oh, that opening, I mean, all of us we're all relatively in the same age range, more or less, within 4 or 5 years of each other. That opening is so epic. I mean, it gets you so pumped up for the show when it came on, thunder, Thundercats. Oh, I mean, it was so cool, such a cool opening. And then all the different animations going on in the background. It's just, you're right. It's one of the top openings to an animated show ever. I mean, it's up there, like top 10 for sure.
If we're gonna do lists, that would be my top opener. It's kind of hard to do a list of that, but
Thank you.
Nothing beats it.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree.
The quality of the animation, like how things flow, just it's like you can't not watch that show.
It's kinetic. I mean, it's almost like a movie in a way. The way everything's being sequenced, all the action going on, it's just awesome, and the effects within it.
You're talking 80s, 70s. Like animation was generally garbage.
It's true.
You watch the episode, so to see something of that quality, you're like, why can't the whole thing be like this?
Transformers was another one that once you got older, you realized all the mistakes that would happen. Like robots would change colors, and then they would transform back and not show you, and they'd be missing part of their.
Or they show the wrong robot.
Yeah, and the wrong robot was talking, and they'd be like Optimus Prime, and it's Bumblebee saying something, and you're like, what? But you never noticed it as a kid. You just never.
Right.
Oh, Ricky Barnett popped in. Hello, Ricky. Thank you for joining us. My mom is here. Everybody say hi to my mom.
Hi, Miss McKinney.
Hi, Mom. It's good to see you.
Is Julio's mom here?
No, Julio's mom is only here in spirit, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Only at our shows.
Yeah,
yes.
Here in spirit. But, so this is going to be a fun one. We're going to talk a lot about, for those that are just tuning in, we're going to be talking a lot about animation. And we have animator here, Bill Buchanan. So thank you for joining us again, Bill. Real quick, as we're starting out, I just want to mention we do these live podcasts every Monday, or almost every Monday, at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, usually till about 9 p.m. Pacific time. We are on for, and we love them. They're a lot of fun. Always a broad range of topics. And we also do an audio podcast that we try to get that out every Thursday or Friday, usually every Friday. We put that on many of the platforms, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those guys, all the big ones and all the little ones as well. So please tune into those when you get time. They're a lot of fun, and we do a wide range of topics on those as well. We always try to diversify. The audio podcasts tend to be a little more towards comic books, and these podcasts, we like to bend the rules a little bit and broaden the horizon, so to speak, when it comes to this. Not saying that animated cartoons and comic books don't go hand in hand, because they do. I can think of just off the top of my head, Alf, for example. As far as Alf was a live action show on NBC, it was an animated cartoon on NBC, and it was a pretty successful comic book. It ran about, 50, 60 issues?
Right.
And to add to that, G.I. Joe and Transformers. G.I. Joe was a comic book in 1982, and then a year later in 83 was when the animation started.
Yeah.
So,
hey, Sammy. Thanks for joining. Hey, Maria. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you guys.
Let me
sorry,
remind
Will, go ahead.
Story about the Transformers and G.I. Joe, how they got that made. I'll let you know. So I don't want to interrupt.
That's right. Oh, okay, so you have a story about Sunbow Productions that produced them.
Well,
yeah.
We have time.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Basically, that whole thing, that Toys That Made Us thing, with the Transformers G.I. Joe. The story behind it is that animated series was given to the network because basically the toy company paid for the entire process of the animation, and they told the network, we're going to give you the whole thing for free, but you have to show an ad for a toy that we're coming out with every commercial break for free. So they made laws that went against it. They couldn't do that after Transformers and G.I. Joe, but that's how they paid for all of their toys with just the advertising. It was basically a half-hour commercial for toys.
Wow.
Well, a lot of those 80s cartoons were like that. He-Man, you're trying to sell the toys. Thundercats, we mentioned earlier. A lot of those 80s, it was all about the toys.
By the time it got to the early, probably I'd say more like the 93, 94, everything was marketed with the toy line in mind. Everything. There was no, we accidentally came up with this cartoon and now we need to figure out a toy. No. Everything was figured out. Think about it, Mighty Max, which was basically just Polly Pocket, but for boys. And then, what's some of the other ones that they had? What's that?
Too early. Mask?
Yeah,
Mask was another one that was but those toys are fantastic. I love those toys.
Bionic 6, that was a cool one.
Even Ninja Turtles, by the end seasons, became about, all right, what new kind of crazy versions can we create in the show to sell the toys for?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because they needed the money, you know what I mean? They were the toy line was drying up, and kids weren't as excited with Ninja Turtles as they used to be. I was probably one of the biggest fans of Ninja Turtles back when I was a kid, and I had all the toys, not the vehicles, mind you, because my mom and dad never got me the turtle van, and I know I've said this before, sorry Mom and Dad, but I never got the turtle van, and I always wanted the turtle van, but I did get the pizza thrower and a few other things, but then I had every single figure, so I was spoiled in that way,
I had the helicopter.
What's that?
You have the helicopter now.
I'm sorry, Chris, go ahead.
I said I had the helicopter. That's all I was saying.
I didn't know they had a helicopter. I don't remember.
Yeah, they had a helicopter. I think it was just. I don't know if it was. I think it was just strictly a toy line item.
Okay.
I don't think it was ever in the cartoon.
Okay. Bill, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just asking if you have the turtle van now.
No, I don't. I bid on it once. It was a late night eBay bid, and by late night I mean I had maybe one whiskey, maybe two, I don't know, but I was like, I deserve it, and I bid on it, and I think it went up to like $50 some, and I was like, I don't deserve it. So,
bargain now, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure now it is, but yeah. Whatever. What are you gonna do?
But the end of it is there definitely is crossover between the two, and in our studio, animators want to be comic book artists, and comic book artists want to be animators. And the real thing is, you really want to be an animator, you get a really good salary. I mean, but animators do want to do their own comics all the time.
Yeah.
So we have crossover.
Yeah. Sure. And so you've done how many comics?
Zero.
Oh, come on.
But it's
Most
coming.
people want to do comics, but they don't do them. But I only know maybe a couple people that are successfully crossed over.
Oh, okay. You still thinking about it, or?
Hell no.
No?
I'll leave it to professionals in comics.
All right, fair enough.
Come on. You know what? You got to do at least one shot comic book. Just one, Bill.
Okay.
Just one.
When do I have time? I'll quit the shop.
No, don't do that. Donald and I will co-write the story, and you just got to do the animation. We'll fill in the
bubbles. Oh yeah, we'll easily create the story, and then you have to do all the hard stuff. So.
Kirby.
Exactly.
You have 365 days to get it done. Exactly. So for those just tuning in, we are interviewing here Bill Buchanan, animator on currently American Dad. Am I correct?
That's right.
I think last podcast I called it Family Dad or American Family.
Dad, yeah, he said something like that.
Just like my father was.
Yeah.
12 years of it. Oh, American Guy?
Yeah.
I love that American Guy. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. Well, he tried.
American dude.
Right. Family Dad.
I know, Sammy, for shame. Hey, Bonnie, thank you for joining us. People in the chat, I want you to know that sometimes we get a delay on your chats, but they're usually not that long of a delay. Sometimes it's just hard for me to slip in when I'm going to say hello or something like that. So I'll try to acknowledge that you popped in. Like Sean Leonard just popped in. And he says, what's up, kids?
What's up, Sean?
Been having some Monday responsibilities the last couple Mondays when y'all go live, popping in tonight. Well, thank you, Sean, for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Sean, if I recall, you're a big animation fan, so we might do a little Q&A session a little bit later, just to ask some general questions on animation and stuff. Throw it Bill's way to see what he thinks. But I kind of want to get started with a little bit just about exactly... Oh, hey, Evan just popped in. Evan, who did the floors at We Can Be Heroes comic book shop.
An excellent craftsman, I must add. An excellent craftsman.
Yes. So thank you for joining us, Evan. We always appreciate you popping in. Speaking of which, just want to mention that that Will is co-owner of, Bill here is co-owner of a shop called We Can Be Heroes. It's a comic book shop in Chatsworth, California. Julio, who's oftentimes a guest on our show, is the other half. He's the yin to your yang, the what else? The
peanut butter to his jelly.
Laurel to your Hardy, the Abbott to your Costello, however you want to say it, But yeah, the peanut butter to your jelly.
A really great team. Whatever one person is lacking, the other person is pretty much great at. So it's a beautiful system. We took a year to work out what we were both the best at, and we're flying with it.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So.
That's great.
The business is growing. That's a beautiful thing.
It's a really fun shop, guys. Those that live in the Southern California area, you should go check it out. I consider it kind of like a clubhouse now. I go in there and hang out with the guys, and we'll talk. And I like going in there. Wednesdays they do an Instagram sale on their Instagram page. We Can Be Heroes. 2 guys, 1 box. Am I correct?
That's right.
That's what it is.
Did you see the new title for the pool game?
No, I didn't.
I was like, put up a post and tell them our pool game is strong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Nice. So you're doing the pool game. That's right. You're doing pool games on this Wednesday, so that's going to be a little different. That should be fun to mix it up a little bit.
We got to do like once a month.
Actually, the first thing I ever filmed there, kind of accidentally on I think it might have been a Wednesday or a Friday or something, was a pool game that you guys were doing, and I was holding the camera for one for like a moment, and that was the last time I remember you guys doing one. So it'll be a fun time. So if you guys get a chance to go into the shop, what's that?
You are a talented cameraman.
Oh, I try.
There's been a lot of bad camera movement. Yeah. Oh man, steady.
Yeah, I'm the best. Here, let me hold your phone.
Dude, it's decidedly better when you're doing it. Like, you just know how to frame it just right. Not everybody knows how to do that. And I was like, yes.
Oh, stop. I blush. I'm blushing.
And also, if I might add, We Could Be Heroes, not only is it an excellent comic book shop, it's also great for some Pokemon cards, right?
Oh, we're expanding rapidly. Dear Lord. Next Tuesday, we move all gaming into the other side. You guys don't know that yet.
No.
Oh.
Wow.
Bigger. And we brought on the two guys that do it full time.
Oh, crap. It's coming, man. It's coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, we got a couple comments. Raphael popped in. He said, "Hey, boys. What's up, Bill? Happy Mondays."
What's up?
So, the Raphael, a.k.a. Mr. Showtime there.
Showtime, Raphael.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
We have Enrique, who's popping in. He says, "Hey, guys. Thanks for joining, Enrique. Love to see you on here."
Enrique, one of our most loyal attendees to our wonderful live stream. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. We've got, we have Julio. He says Kevin comes in for bi-weekly books.
That's true. I do.
That's true.
And you know what? And those books are great.
Okay, so Wally's here. He says, big fan of King of the Hill. Rusty Shackleford's my favorite.
Rusty Shackleford.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not getting me this time, Wally. You're not getting me this time. I see your name in there. That's a funny one, though, I will say. I'm like sounding it out in my head. Everybody that watches this later will understand. Or anybody in the chat right now that says his name out loud will understand.
I wish I could see it. Oh,
well, you'll definitely. I'll tell you about it later.
As we start, wouldn't it be appropriate once we start the interview process just to ask Bill about his origins, where he's from?
Sure.
And how he.
Yeah.
Now?
Yeah. Well, we're going to interview as far as we want to know everything about you. So, your mother pushed you out, and then what happened?
Right. Oh my Lord! I went to McDonald's for my 3rd birthday.
Hey.
On the choo-choo train.
Oh, I remember the choo-choo train.
Yeah, remember?
Did they have chicken McNuggets back then?
Yeah, gross dark meat, dude.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Full of boingers inside.
Yeah,
now,
gristle.
One thing they had that doesn't exist anymore was those chocolate chip cookies that were the size of a quarter. They came in a white box. I was so mad when they got rid of it.
He's gonna talk about this till the day when he's on his deathbed. Kevin's gonna be like, "Come here, Donald, come here," and I'll walk to his deathbed, and I'm like, "What is it, buddy?" And he's like, "Remember when McDonald's had those chocolate chip cookies? They're about this big, and they came in a white box." And I
remember
they were great, man.
With the hot side and the cold side.
They were great.
Yeah. I remember that one. Came in two, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we got to combine them that way." Julio says, "Hey Bucky, I'm glad you combed your hair."
Thanks.
So that's nice. Yeah.
Once.
Yeah.
I'm a bad representative of the shop. I never go in.
All right, so you were 3 years old. You went on the train to McDonald's. What happened then?
Okay, so I'm actually going to start for real.
Okay.
I mean, as early as I can remember, I always wanted to be an animator. I never lost track. It was one track minded the entire time, pretty much.
Really?
So.
What do you think got you into that originally? What do you think got you into that? Like, was there a specific show or a series of shows or just?
Oh, I mean, you know, like when we're like 10 or 12, everything's that sponge.
Yeah.
You know? And see, first just to be an artist, but I think I want to be an artist. I did not want to be anything else. But then the animator came in on Amazing Stories. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
And they did Family Dog.
Yes.
And it was Tim Burton's designs, and it was done by all the guys that are at Pixar now. So it was Lasseter. And most people don't know that. All the big names at Pixar and Disney worked on that cartoon in '88, I think. So I was like 12.
Wow.
And that did it. And it's you guys, if you're going to make that list, that's number one on the list for me as the greatest cartoon ever made. Every second of it, every frame of it is perfection to me. And that did it. And the next week, they had the 1 hour special with the belly gunner from World War II that was a Disney artist. And
I remember that with the wheels that came.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great episode. That's a twofer right there for you, so that probably sealed the deal.
Yeah, it solidified it.
Sean says that Brad Bird directed Family Dog. Is that true?
Yes. So Brad Bird is the guy, he did Incredibles, which is, to me, the greatest CG cartoon to this day. And he was like a god, to animators for a long time. My first job at King of the Hill, skipping ahead, was I did work off of Brad Bird's roughs. And I was like losing my mind. For a short time, he was there slumming, and he hated every second that he was on King of the Hill.
Yeah.
But he was doing board revisions for the directors of how to do better shots. And I would see these giant Sharpie marks on the storyboard. I was like, that's Brad Bird.
He was probably doing this, son of a bitch job.
Oh, yeah. I heard he hated it. Yeah. So I grew up in Philly and went to college in Philly for it. But animation was booming in 93, 95. That's when I started college in 93. I only did 2 years. The 2-year school. And I was going to stay in Philly. I tried to stay in Philly, but there's no animation work. I read a book where it had the union rates in the back of it. And I was like, I'm fucking going to LA. Really, you're paying that much? And that guy, the person who wrote that book, wound up freelancing for me. And I didn't know.
No shit.
Until like 6 months into it, I was like, you wrote Introduction to a Career? He's like, yes, I did. I can't believe this. I had him sign it. I was like, you're the reason I'm here.
Oh, that's cool.
It's incredible. His name is Milt Gray, and he actually worked on Jungle Book. Like, it was his first thing that he worked on when he moved to LA in '64. So
Jungle
he was
Book
in the '70s.
Jungle Book was an interesting one for me because it was one. It's the first Disney film that when I was younger, I really didn't care for. But when I got older, when I watched it, probably about 10 years ago, I absolutely loved it. So it hit with me just later in life for some reason. I don't know why that is. But I think that's something that's really special about animation is that it can hit you at certain times of your life. And you think that animation is only when I was a kid, back when I was a kid and stuff. But no, this one hit me, it affected me when I was an adult. I was in my 30s and I watched it and I was like, wow, this is really good. This is really special. Why didn't I like this? It's I love this so much more than I did back then. And I think that's a super cool thing with animation.
Donald, I think it's because you evolved into blue.
That could also be part of that, yeah.
It's part of it.
Yeah, I did really appreciate Baloo. How to get other people to do work for you, I think, is something that I really strove for in life, yeah. I was like, I need to be a manager of something. It hit me, suddenly I'm watching that. And I was like, I got to manage something.
So,
what's that?
Go ahead, Will. I had a follow-up question to what you were about when you moved to LA. And I was just curious, how when you moved to LA and you want to be an animator, what's the process? What do you do to get seen? For actors, you make a reel, you send it out. Is it similar for animators, or is it a different approach?
Well, yeah, you need a portfolio, but it doesn't have to be incredible. It's just like anything else in Los Angeles. It's who you know.
Mm-hmm.
So there were 9 of us in college. We had a real badass, and I still talk to him this day, a good friend, Jim Shellhorn. And he was so talented, well above us, and 7 years old. He was in his late 20s. That he was so talented, he didn't need any help. They took one look at his portfolio and said, you're in on King of the Hill.
Wow.
And he came out a year earlier. We came out for an animation festival, '97. I went back home and I was like, I was like, I got to move out. And I just asked him for a test. And they were still hiring. They needed like 2 more people. That was it. And he gave it to me. I worked on it for 3 weeks. I brought $1,000 out. I was like, this is going to last me forever. This lasts forever in Philly. I'm going to last like 3.5 months on $1,000.
Right.
And I took the test, and I'm even living with somebody else. I took the test. It was 3 weeks. Then he came back and they said, they want you to revise it, and I'll tell you how to do it. I'm not going to do it for you, but I'll tell you how to revise it. And I did, and turned it back in like 3 days, and I waited. And I watched the money, the bank account go down, down, down. And I was like at $40. And my dad had flown out so we could drive back. I was like, I'm probably not going to get it, you know?
Yeah.
And the last day before, we were like, you know, warming up the car almost. And I got the call. And I was like, woo! That feeling, man, when you get to, there's nothing like that in the world. We were like jumping around. It was like the Jungle Book when they're dancing.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's
yeah, it's an incredible memory. It's, you know, it's always been uphill from there.
You know, I think you're speaking to an elite group of people here that have all officially had like financial, like very slim margins almost immediately, like when we were out in LA. Like my first time out, I had a very small amount, a decent amount what I thought saved up, but in 2005, LA money, that's nothing. That's like 2 months, you know, and so I was like, I have to find a job, you know, and I was like, I'll do whatever, you know, like I'll take pretty much any job. I almost took a job mopping floors at a costume shop, just to get an income in, right? And then I got a call from ArcLight Cinemas in Hollywood, which is now gone under, all the Pacific Theaters and ArcLight and everything. Rest in peace, ArcLight. But I got a call there at the last minute, and I was able to stay then out in LA because of that, because I had a solid enough income that I could afford rent and afford food and what bills I had to pay, and that was, yeah. So that's a beautiful feeling. What's that?
What were you trying to do out here? What was your goal?
My goal was to come out here in write and direct and you know, be in films and things like that, and be in front of a camera, which I have to a point. I mean, you know, I'm in front of a camera right now technically, but also I've done a lot of work with these two guys, Chris and Kevin, web series content, feature films, and a lot of independent film work and stuff like that. So I've done pretty much everything I set out to do, except for be like
full feature film.
Right. Well, no, I've been in full feature films, like, but my goal initially was to be the next Vincent D'Onofrio. Like, I wanted to be the guy that you were like, I know that guy. I know his name. Just give me a minute. That's the guy I wanted to be. You know, I didn't want to be, oh, look, it's Johnny Depp. You know, let's chase him around the parking lot. I didn't want that. You know, but I wanted to be the guy that consistently worked and, you know, had, you know,
like J.K. Simmons,
a name that your mom would remember. In other words, so
like J.K. Simmons, a good working actor.
Right, exactly like J.K. Simmons, who's now working in an animated series, Invincible, which is on Amazon Prime.
There we go.
If you haven't seen that, by the way, Bill, it is quite special. It's very good. I recommend it.
Okay.
But,
what else you want to know?
Anyway, you were saying that that you got the gig, and you were almost out of money. So what happened then once you landed the job?
My friend got it the same day. He had moved out the year before, and he got the other position. So we went and got an apartment together in North Hollywood, right behind, you know where the Academy is on Magnolia?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So, right on Heartsoak, right behind Magnolia there.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so that's where we stayed for a while, and dude, we just worked our asses off. I mean, we didn't realize how hard it was. Like, we worked 12 hours a day for 3 months, the first 3 months, thinking it was our last day. You know, just because you get the job doesn't mean you got the job.
Right.
You know,
Yeah. All the Hollywood jobs are essentially like that. When I first came out here, and I'm sure you guys too, Chris and Donald, you do like PA work. It's long hours. It's not glamorous.
No.
Not glamorous at all.
You know, I was always, though, still to this day, I'm always super excited when I do PA work. Yeah, And I normally now I don't
exciting
even
to
do it so much for money. I'll do it for like favors for friends and stuff. But
Right.
it's still exciting to be a part of that, you know, because you feed off of other people's energy. And if it's and usually with my friends, it's always been like a good production or a fun production
Good
and
crew.
stuff. So I tend to feed off that. I wouldn't want to be someplace where it's like a toxic environment. You know, I wouldn't want to be on a show like that and be a PA and be involved in that. I think that would just be a miserable existence, and I wouldn't want that.
Yeah, I was on one of those. That was not a good experience. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You work long hours on a miserable show. That's not good.
What's a miserable show?
Well, years ago when I came out here, I was working on a show. You remember Monster Garage back in the day
Yeah.
on Discovery Channel? So there's like a spin-off show called Drive Shaft, and it's just a lot of disorganization. I'm putting together like the pilot episode, so it was crazy. It was like the longest I've ever worked in my life. I did a 21 hours shift essentially. I worked 21 straight hours.
God.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
That sounds
Better
fun.
price services.
Yeah.
So we got a few comments here. Let's see. Sean says Donald will appreciate this. I got an interview at Family Guy a long time back, and I think I ultimately didn't get it because of going on and on about Flight of the Dragons, which none of them had seen. John, I very much appreciate that because you are one of only two people, myself included, that I know that really knows that cartoon well enough to even mention it. Flight of Dragons was a made-for-television kind of back in the early to mid-'80s, I think it was, like 82, 83, somewhere around there. The animation is a little rough comparatively to now, you know, what you see. And even comparatively to what you would get like a la Thundercats or something like that. It is definitely, you can tell it's kind of has that made-for-television quality, you know, that you would normally see back then. But it's a wonderful story. So if
is it from Rankin Bass?
If you're trying to be an animator,
no, I don't think so.
And you're talking about something that has bad animation as your top thing, you know, they might be like, well, he likes a show that has bad animation.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he said none of them have seen it, so they probably maybe they immediately looked it up and then was like just looked at images and was like, what the shit? Not thinking about the story. Let's see. Little Greek Coffee House says, I worked as a task rabbit when I first came. So, yeah.
That's Alexi. What's up, Alexi?
Yep. What's my name again, Sammy? It is Donald. I'm pretty sure it's spelled right here. Donald. Are you drinking? What's going on, Sammy? You drinking?
Wait. Remember, Sammy was the winner last week of the hot sauce.
He was.
Right.
We did a hot sauce giveaway with Half's hot sauce, and she won 2 bottles. And her choices were Hot Tropic and Pineapple. So
which one did she pick?
Sammy, she chose both. That's her choices. She got to choose 2. Sammy, Brian said that the hot sauces, I think they went out this week. So you should be getting them probably near the end of the week or beginning of next. I'm just drinking my usual, Sammy, my boring stevia soda, Zevia. So
some cola.
Boring.
Yeah, nothing too exciting. Sean says the animation of it is cool, and Kevin is right. It is Rankin and Bass. Okay. Well.
Oh, Rankin Bass. Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea. I never paid attention to that.
You didn't do that? I did.
No. Raphael says, Bill, tell us a cool moment in your animation career. So if you got a moment to mention a cool moment.
Well, that's on the spot. I don't know. I got to dance with Brittany Murphy, I guess, on the second season premiere. That's a highlight.
Wait, say it again. You got to dance with her?
Nice.
Yeah, she was Luann's voice.
Oh, that's right.
It was the last time the voice people showed up because we, as animators, were a problem. So the voice actors were like, we're not coming back. But on that fateful day at the El Rey Theater, we had our second season premiere, and the cast and crew intermingled, and it was super fun. It was the height. It was right after Swingers, so like swing dancing was in, and everybody was like doing that kind of stuff on the dance floor.
Yeah.
So Brittany Murphy was a joy. She was so nice.
Yes, I met her at the ArcLight years ago. She was very nice, very friendly. And she's from New Jersey. Yeah, very down to earth.
The long, elaborate story, I did not prepare, and it's quite hard to think of that when you're on the spot.
That's
but
all
as
right.
we go along, I might remember.
I think the
really
Brittany Murphy one's a pretty good one. So if you don't think of another one, that's okay. We'll be okay with that.
Sure.
We got another question from Shane Curry, Cartoons, and
my boss.
Shane asks, "Did Bill ever rage quit any cartoon shows?"
Yeah, last year.
Really? Wow.
That's my new boss, Shane Curry. It wasn't a sudden quit button. It was kind of being tired of doing the same thing for 12 years.
Yeah.
Around. Now he gets to do it. So enjoy your first 3 where it's very fun, Shane.
Enjoy the time while it lasts. Yes.
Yes, I have rage quit a few, mostly because of pay.
Okay. So since we're speaking,
I rage quit Avengers.
Avengers?
I did the first episode of Avengers.
Really?
And yeah, even with like the Tony Stark, heads up display and stuff. And I did it as a favor for a friend, and I didn't ask for what the pay was. And when it was so hard. It's constant action. And when I got the paycheck, I was like, "You fucking kidding me?" Like it was less than anybody else, and I was so excited to have like a little marble badge,
Disney, Disney and Marvel, I hear, are kind of known for being cheap.
It's terrible. What's that?
I hear Disney and Marvel are kind of notorious for being cheap, shall we say, or play games when it comes to paying out
I didn't know
appropriately.
Marvel was, but Disney, I mean, they were separate at the time, but they were right next to Disney. But Disney always was cheap because everybody wanted to work for them.
Yep.
They wanted that. Even my own mother was like, "Well, let me know when you're a Disney animator." I was like, "I'll never work for Disney because I'll have to get a 1-bedroom apartment again."
Yeah.
Not 2.
Yeah, even in like the editing world and stuff, Disney's one of the lesser
notorious.
Yeah, they
pay their bills like, 'cause my old TV post production job, they were known for paying late for jobs that you did for them.
Fox has been the best. I mean,
yeah, Fox is good.
Century, I should say now, the Disney subsidiary, 20th Century now.
Yeah.
As we are all Disney employees. But they paid well. They treated their artists better than anybody else. So my hat's off to them for, because it was prime time. They get good advertising dollars. They should pay more. And they got the best. Most of the time they got the best because of it.
Oh, Julio says, by the way, Bill, he says, "I'm taking off, guys. I got to go look at a collection. No rest for the wicked. 2 guys, 1 box on Wednesday night."
Dang, another collection.
Yep.
What?
Yep. And Sean says, "Not sure if they still do it, but all Disney commercials used to be non-union."
Oh, really? That's crazy.
And you'll... Go ahead.
There's always a fight. There's always a fight for studios always want to be non-union because, the rates are high. So
right. They can
get away with it.
I think Netflix has been able to get away with a lot of stuff too because they're considered like internet based. They're not like an actual production studio, so to speak. So
I know we got an hour left, but we could get into that forever. But the new media fight.
Yeah.
It's called new media. The new media fight. It's been raging for the last 3 or 4 years. And the pay scales were so low. And that's why the writers strike, by the way.
Yeah.
Because they weren't opening their books on new media. The producers the studios were allowed to keep their books closed on how much advertising dollars they were making on new media. And the writers were like, "You're not paying us hardly anything for streaming."
Right.
So they got from their books. Even though South Park made that joke about the Canadians as the writers, where they got nothing except for like gum or something. like that's they thought the writers got nothing, but that's kind of a win because you made them, show you how much they made.
Yeah.
But you don't know what the ratings are anymore. Like with Netflix, they don't release publicly what the ratings are for each show. It's kind of like a hidden secret thing now. So how does a writer or actor know how much is coming in and how they can get paid accordingly for residuals.
Yeah.
That's a big issue.
Right?
Yeah.
So
that's kind of it's getting better, but it's not there at all. We got to keep going every 2 years, 3 years.
well, apparently the editors guild too. They've been fighting pretty hard for a little better pay and equality when it comes to even just within their union, because there's a lot.
The editors union is nasty.
The editors
They're
and
hard motherfuckers.
editors and then you have the directors union, and then the writers union, and then the animators and the union. I remember when we were working at ArcLight and they were trying to unionize the projectionists, and like the managers were coming around and they were like, if you see somebody coming around asking about unionizing, you come and let us know immediately. It's very important that we know this.
I remember.
And so the union reps would just come in and we'd be like, oh yeah, the projectionist is over there. You know, we just point, we didn't care, you know, like we wanted to help our friends. Come on, you know, why would we rat them out? It's stupid. Like,
and they did unionize, if I recall, right, Donald? I think they did unionize, right?
Ultimately, they did, yeah. They unionized so they could get better pay because they deserved it, yeah. They worked hard. Yules F says LOL at Shane.
That's Yule, my girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
My child.
Oh, well, hello.
How you doing?
Nice to see you on. Raphael says everyone's favorite comic character and why. That's his question. So let's start. I guess we'll start with. We'll go counterclockwise. We'll start with you, Chris. What's your favorite comic character and why?
The Turtles. I mean, I know it's more than one, but I guess Michelangelo, if I had to choose one.
Okay.
I don't know. It was the first comic book I ever read. Really stuck with me. I liked all the different personalities. I have part of each personality in me. I can see like a certain part of each turtle's personality in myself. And you know, it's been stuck with me my whole life, and it's my go-to comic. I've watched all the cartoons for it. It was most of the toys that I owned as a kid was Ninja Turtles. So yeah, Michelangelo. That's Michelangelo.
Nice.
Chris, did you ever drop off? Did you consistently, even when it wasn't popular, you were still buying the books?
I actually never bought a Turtles book until I was reading the books, but I was never buying the books. I had a few books bought. I had like the first few bought for me. And then I did drop off. I dropped, the TV show came out, so then I started watching the show. And it wasn't until I was older that they started making the collections of the books so that I could go back and see everything that I missed.
Okay. Like the trades?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I don't miss an issue for the last 3 years.
Apparently nobody else does. It's like one of the most popular comics we got at the shop for sure.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah. When you do the Wednesday sales, those always go like fire.
I know.
Yeah.
They do.
Julio knows. Julio's like, oh, we're putting this up. We go, okay.
Yeah.
That's about it.
He's got a nose for that kind of stuff when it comes to Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that and Star Wars, he's got it all. He's got that down.
Yep. Yeah. When I go to a lot of different states often, so when I go to a different state, I'll go to a different comic book shop. And then sometimes I'll message him and I'll be like, what are you looking for? And then he'll give me a list, usually Star Wars, and I'll try to look and see if they got any that he's mentioned. And I've struck out every single time, but I always look for them, when I can.
You would think, like, a lot of the store owners, like, if I was a store owner that alone without him, I would not know anything about Star Wars, and people would pick me dry. And I'm sure a lot of other store owners are like that are older. They're like, I don't care about Star Wars. And you're pulling out $70, $80, $90 books from the $5 bin.
Yeah. It's just if you're not in the know, if you don't keep up, it's really hard. It's really hard to constantly stay ahead of the curve. It's just
right now, impossible.
Yeah.
Like there's a guy that really knows his stuff. This guy John that's been hanging out with us. Really cool guy. Just digs through our dollar bins and he gets a $20, $30 book every time. And he shows me. He's like, "You didn't know about this one?" I was like, "No, congrats."
You're like,
there's nothing.
Yay!
Get it all.
Thanks for finding it.
Yeah. Thanks for telling me.
Yeah. Thanks for rubbing it in. Appreciate it. So Kevin, what's your favorite and why?
I have like a few, but I'll go with one of my personal favorites, Silver Surfer. He's a cool character. Who wouldn't want to wield the power cosmic? Be able to manipulate the energies of the universe and have a cool surfboard. You get to navigate the stars. And plus, I just like his thought process. He's always like contemplating things. And I'm kind of that way. I'm always like thinking and always wanting to meet new people and learn about them. And he's kind of like a rebel. He's kind of like a rebel. He rebelled against Galactus. Even though he had to sacrifice to serve him because of he was about to basically eat up his home world. So he's a good guy. He's a good character. Norrin Rad. He's a cool dude.
Norrin Rad. That's awesome.
Bill, what about you?
I have two favorites. If I ever saw them in a comic, I would buy it, which is MODOK and Fin Fang Foom.
Fin Fang Foom.
Weird Kirby monster and shit like that. I'm all about it, especially MODOK. I think MODOK would be my favorite. He's so stupid. And every time I see a panel of his, I laugh every single time. It's especially the earlier appearances. I know he's got a cartoon out right now. And I'm so upset that I didn't know about it because I'd be pushing to get on it. But yeah, MODOK would be number one. And then Fin Fang Foom, they both have Build-A-Figures that I'm desperately trying to get as well.
Well, two things with that. This year is the 60th anniversary of Fin Fang Foom's first appearance in Strange Tales.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And number two, don't be surprised at some point we see him in a Shang-Chi movie in the future.
Yeah, if that happened, I'd buy the Blu-ray. That's the level of commitment I'm willing to go to for Fin Fang.
He would buy physical media.
$30 Blu-ray. I must have him. Yeah, can you imagine that giant dragon showing up in the movie? I just blow your mind.
Yeah.
So, and I guarantee you if he showed up, he'd be everybody's favorite thing about the movie.
Yeah,
probably right.
I think so. I know it'd be Maria's favorite. Right, Maria? I'm sure you're in the chat. You let me know, but I'm sure Maria would be like, "Yeah, that'd be amazing."
She's a fan as well.
She's a fan of like monsters and stuff. Remember when she got that? What was it? It was Maria, correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember the name of the cow that's a vampire. It's like Mucula or something like that. And the cow does this it goes ha 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 moo like that. It's like and it goes around. Hell Cow, that's it. It's Hell Cow. Thank you, Maria.
Hell Cow.
Yeah, she found it at the shop, and you just gave it to her. You're like, yeah, go ahead and take it. She was so excited. So excited. So she loves, like, monsters and stuff like that, so Fin Fang Foom would be right up her alley, like, 100%.
Okay. Perfect. You guys have, your favorite characters have so much story behind them. It's so much better.
Well,
you know what? The whole power cosmic, and you have like this incredible team with backstory.
I did like MODOK on the Iron Man show, the Iron Man cartoon from the 90s. He was kind of cool. He was a cool villain on there.
Yeah.
It's
the dumbest thing. It's like Arnim Zola, with his face inside of his stomach.
Or Krang.
Crazy, stupid Kirby concoction.
Yeah.
He was having fun with it.
Always some random thing like that. It was always... That's kind of what turned me off from those characters when I was younger, is that they looked so ridiculous. Like, I was like, this doesn't look like... And, like, even, like, Hercules, who I love now, by the way, he's one of my favorites. When I was a kid, I was like, he has a beard and a mustache. I don't like that. Like, I was such a snood when it came to, like, characters. I was like, no.
By the way, in the 80s, a beard and a mustache was creepy. Just letting you all know.
Yeah.
Remember?
Maybe that's it, because it was in the 80s.
Huh?
It was in the 80s, so maybe that's why. I might have thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Possible.
I remember, I think if you had a beard and a mustache in the 80s, like, everybody thought you were like a coke addict or something.
Or a porn star, right?
70s, huh?
Wasn't it like a porn star, too, you could be?
Yeah, anybody with a mustache. Up until, like, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
For sure.
So mine, to just wrap it up, my favorite comic character, I don't know if you guys know this, but I created a web series called The Blue Beetle Ted Cord Returns. It's on Rumble Spoon Productions' YouTube page. You might want to check it out. I didn't do that for nothing. Blue Beetle Ted Cord is my favorite character. He's basically DC Spider-Man. I love him to death.
Steve Ditko created it.
Steve Ditko created him for Charlton Comics. I love the character. I love his persona, his attitude. Steve, what was it? Giffen. Giffen gave him.
Oh, dude, Giffen. Yeah.
Yeah, Giffen gave him the personality. Him and J.M. DeMatteis.
Oh yeah.
DeMatteis. Yeah, together they gave him the personality that we all know and love, and I appreciate very much. And that's part of what I did with the character. It was also the first comic book I ever owned when I was a kid. My parents had some random. It was an issue 3 Modern Comics reprint of the Blue Beetle, sitting on a bookshelf next to all the books, and I found it like stuck in, wedged above the books, and I pulled it out, and I was like, "What's this?" And there was like, it was Blue Beetle, and then the other one was A-Team number 2.
Oof.
And I love the A-Team, still do, by the way. It's still great. I've been rewatching it slowly, and it's still a lot of fun. So I enjoy that. But yeah, it was Blue Beetle.
That's also another great opening to a TV show.
Absolutely,
the A-Team.
Absolutely. We got a few comments here.
Well done.
Maria, I'm sorry we're so behind on this, but she says IATSE is the only union that didn't negotiate residuals for streaming content, but we're trying to change that this summer. Gonna be a gnarly fight.
Good luck.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one.
Because IATSEs, they're always trying to get rid of benefits like 401k and the health benefits, trying to squash them on purpose. So we focus on that instead of getting better. So we're fighting them, trying to lower our standards instead of them keeping it, and then we can fight for the better stuff. It's brutal. I've been around it quite a bit.
It's kind of a divide and conquer strategy, I'm sure, is employed.
It's terrible. They should just treat people better, you know? Like, that's what they're there for, really.
Believe it or not, it's probably the best that we've ever had it, which is crazy.
Yay! I mean,
Why do you think they striked against Disney?
Hey, I see someone in the chat who's brand new. Is that? Do I see Ann there? Did I see that, Donald? Ann's in the chat?
Ann Camlin says, "Hey guys, yes.
Hello, Ann.
Thanks.
What's up, Ann?
Thanks for joining us, Ann.
Got my link. Hey.
We appreciate it. Juice is here. He said, "Hey, that's the guy from the two guys, one box." Yules says hello back. Sean says Silver Surfer is one of my favorites too.
Thank you.
Sean also says Spider-Man is probably my favorite comic character. He's the most relatable and he makes me laugh. And he says the Will from Saga is pretty cool too, and Howard the Duck is great as well. And Ann says yes, Ann's in the chat. So thank you for joining us, Ann. Now that we've talked about that,
likes, the monster stuff, Werewolf by Night, Tomb of Dracula.
Nice.
There we go.
That's some good stuff. I've always liked the Marvel dark, so to speak, like the Marvel Monster
like
Universe.
Blade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Moon Knight.
I got all that stuff.
Yeah, Moon Knight,
Moon
Blade,
Knight's blowing up.
Werewolf by
I know
Night.
Donald was very wise to have picked up his Moon Knight book. It was like 10 years ago or something like that when you got your issue.
Yeah, I think it was 2009, so it would have been about, what, 12 years?
12 years ago.
12 years
So,
ago. I paid $40 for it, and it graded out, I think, at a 5.5 or something like that, so.
I think you did well.
I did all right.
Last 9.4 sold for $9,000
There you go.
this week.
Wow, okay.
So your five's in the middle somewhere.
I did all right.
Yeah.
Kevin, someday I'm going to have enough money that I can just buy everything. It's going to be great.
And buy everything.
Yeah.
For all of us.
Yep.
Well, the way the comic book market's going right now, you're probably right. Probably able to buy beachfront property.
I'll tell you what, I never thought about cashing out, but boy, they make that tempting.
Yeah, they sure do.
Right? Because who knows if it's going to get any better, or if this is like the golden age right now. If this is like the best it's going to get. You don't know. Like if I was like 60 right now, I would be like, yeah,
Cashing out.
I think I'm going to do it. Like I'm going to cash it out, and I'm going to keep just a few books that are very precious to me, and then just
that's it.
Get rid of the rest and just travel the world on that fortune.
See, my opinion is when the MCU starts to teeter out, once you start seeing the signs where the MCU is not as popular anymore, then
Too late already.
The time to. You think so?
Yeah, by that time it's too late already.
Yeah, true. But if you sense it, you see a couple of movies and you're just like, oof, I don't know. I think they're losing their touch.
Yeah.
And that's when you start detaching.
It's true. It's true. So, Bill, real quick, I just want to mention, I know that we talked about some of your work, but I'm going to go down the list here of some of the things that you've done here in the past. We're going to mention King of the Hill. We're going to talk about, Family Guy. Looks like you did an episode for Family Guy.
Promo.
Bob's Burgers.
I did do an episode, yeah.
Okay, Bob's Burgers. Dawn of the Croods, which I believe is a DreamWorks animation production. Yeah. Also, another DreamWorks is Trolls, The Beat Goes On. We worked on that. Big Mouth, which is a story about Kevin Green and everybody. That's
wow.
Duncanville, which is that about the guy that was one of the teachers at Community?
I guess.
Guy that played Professor Duncan? I doubt it was.
More about the kid.
And then American Dad, which you're currently working on, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the long stints for King of the Hill and American Dad. Those are all the freelance things I did on the side. So.
And before we go further than that, I guess since I mentioned some of these, let's hear one of your favorite, like just your favorite character on some of these. So, for example, like I'm going to go Family Guy. Who's your favorite character on Family Guy?
Favorite character on Family Guy. That's a tough one for me. You got me on that one. I like Stewie the best. I mean, I would imagine all those antagonists. I like the antagonists.
Quagmire. Gotta love Quagmire.
I do, but he got nerfed. He's no longer as evil and sexist as he used to be. The early Quagmire was probably better. So,
all right, gotcha.
But Stewie was great. Stewie's always been great. You can probably pick other shows where I actually have more of an opinion for sure.
Okay.
But
all right, so we're gonna go to another one then. Let's talk about real quick. I'm gonna bring up a picture, so give me a moment. What about Bob's Burgers?
Bob's is going to be Louise for sure. Because Kristen Shaw is right. Kristen Shaw, probably the best voice actor in the biz.
Yeah.
Right now. So fun to animate off of her voice acting. So just one of the breakout characters in my opinion. I mean, Tina's really fun too, but Louise is like is by far the most animated and fun to do.
There's Bob, Louise, Tina. What's the boy's name? And
Gene.
Gene, and the mother is.
I can't remember right now.
Yeah, me neither. I'm blanking on it, and that's sad because she's actually my favorite character in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Just that New York accent.
I think it's because she likes to sing all the time while she's doing silly stuff. And she's kind of the family goof. Like she's the dreamer in Bob's the practical guy, and she's the one that's like with her head in the clouds.
Dude, such a good mix.
Yeah, I like that, and they were meant for each other. It just works really well. She's Linda. Thank you, Ricky. Linda is the character. I love Linda. She's awesome.
Yes.
Linda's my favorite on that. Okay, so let's do another one here. This one, all I can think about when I think about this show, unfortunately, is the Soggy Biscuit. So we're talking about Big Mouth, the series Big Mouth.
Big Mouth, probably the girl that talks like this. She's probably the funniest thing to watch on there. I can't remember her name.
All right.
But it's one of his things. One of the main creators. Mm-hmm. One of his voices. But every time you hear it, it's so outrageous.
Nick Kroll, isn't it, or something like that?
Nick Kroll, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, so that's Big Mouth. And let's go one more here. Or actually, two more. We're going to go with King of the Hill.
King of the Hill, I think I would go Bobby for sure.
Yeah.
There's so many great moments with Bobby. like when he was on Ritalin and things like that.
Yeah.
The milk in the fridge is about to go bad, and there it goes.
I like Bobby too. Bobby's a really cool character.
Was that one where he took to the women's self-defense class to protect himself at school?
Yes.
Say, that's my purse. I don't know you. And then kick every guy in school in the nuts. It doesn't get better than that.
No, you're right. Let's go with. We've got a couple comments here, so let me mention these. Enrique goes, "Oh, my face!" So I think he's referring to Linda. Yule says, "Linda's sister, forgot her name. She's the funniest." LOL.
Yeah. Gail. Oh,
That's it, Gail. Yes. With the cats and stuff. Yeah.
With the cat butt paintings.
Yep. Sean says Bobby, and then he's like, "That's my purse. I don't know you." He said. So he was saying it at the same time, and Ricky says, "Damn it, Bobby! Damn it!" He's like, "Damn it, Bobby!
That boy ain't right.
Bobby, that boy ain't right in the head. Damn it, Bobby!" So
one
you're like,
one of the things I wanted to show you guys was the first print, like my work in print for the first time ever. Was on a King of the Hill book, and the book is called "That Boy Ain't Right" or "The Boy Ain't Right."
Nice.
And I pulled this out of my dad's wet basement. It's all messed up. But this is in '98, and I got a freelance gig. It's probably back, right?
Yeah, we can see it.
Is it back?
You can see it.
No, we can see it, right?
Yeah, but I got a chance to draw a bunch of drawings in here, but my favorite was the centerfold, where I got to draw John Redcorn naked. And that was one of my first drawings.
Jeez.
I was like 22. And I got the
That is quite the centerfold.
The original's still in the garage.
That's
Wow.
awesome. Is it?
That was like a proud moment.
Is it
I was
blown
like,
up
look
and
at that,
framed
Tom.
in the garage?
I have not framed it,
No.
but I see it. It's just in a stack of papers.
That's definitely got to be framed and put up someplace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here, I'll show you some memorabilia so we can show. Like,
Yeah.
this was
please
our
do.
mug from the 100th anniversary. Got Hank on the back.
Nice.
We didn't get a lot of swag back then. This was great. I stole these. This was like season 1. These were meant to separate your groceries at the grocery store.
Oh. Yeah.
And there was an advertisement. They all lit up and blinked and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
And I was just like, nope, mine. As soon as the person was like looking that way. Like,
At the grocery store?
hell yeah. We had nothing.
All right.
We had nothing. We had no like toys or nothing for the longest time. So I was like, there's some memorabilia, so I'm taking it.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Bitches.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And now when you go to the grocery store, you can separate your groceries if they don't have one of those. You can be like, "Oh, I've got
Hey,
it."
Will.
Yeah.
Hey, Will, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What does a timing supervisor do?
Are we gonna get into that?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Okay.
Well, I mean, let's finish this real quick, Kevin, and then we'll get into that.
All right. Yeah, I just want to get.
We'll get into the basics. I know how to do it, so your eyes don't roll in the back of your head. I can make it in.
One more thing here, like if you want to go over what you have there behind you, and then we'll finish this list, and then we'll get into that timing thing.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So this was the American Dad 100th episode. We got
Klaus.
Nice.
Some beads.
But where's Klaus? Where's Klaus at, though?
He was in there. I thought I saw him.
I just made him fall over.
There he is.
Oh.
That's super cool.
Those were like the centerpieces at the celebration. So
Nice.
pretty neat. We got a giant box for the 300th episode. Yeah, I'll show you. I won't open it. There's a bunch of stuff in here, but that was a big box.
That's
Boxes
cool.
got bigger every year. 300. We survived that.
Wow.
Came with a official Roger mask.
That's cool.
And then we got, I think, a Christmas gift. We got a plush Roger.
Cool.
Of course.
Coveted. Like, they don't do any merchandise for our show, so every time we get something.
Which is strange. I don't know why they don't. Roger's like one of my favorite characters from that show.
Ask the creator. We've told him many times. And last is, if anybody asks, the show still is hand drawn,
Which is good.
Yes. So this is a drawing from the show.
And
it's hard to see it.
I can see it. Do you have any animated cells?
Yes, but I didn't bring them out.
Oh.
But to animators, drawings are the more important ones because, and not even this. This is a Korean drawing. When the American people are drawing the roughs, that's all animators care about. Usually, like the cells are an inker and painter. The finished drawing is overseas, but the real heart of the stuff is the rough drawings that is done here.
Yeah.
That's what we like. That's what we like to collect usually.
Because there's a level of pride with that,
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Every other clean drawing or cell is a copy of the original intention of the very first artist that had the talent. So you want the roughs, always.
That makes sense. I like that.
It's similar to the comic books where, you have the original board that was used by a Jack Kirby or Steve Ditko or something like that.
Yeah.
But people seem to be much more in love with an inked page of original art versus some of these pencils, because you'll see like a Jack Kirby done by a Coletta, and they'll want that more than a Jack Kirby pencil because his stuff was rough. They want the finished thing. I was always like, why do you want Ernie Chan's inks over John Buscema?
Yeah,
I would just want the John Buscema.
That's true.
We got a couple comments here. Ricky says, "Damn it, Bobby." Sean says, Sammy says, Strickland propane. Ray says, one episode they asked Hank if he was gay, and his response was, "What I seek, propane and propane accessories." And I think he says, "What I sell," right? Something like that.
Okay.
Sean says, "Ha ha ha." Chris says, "Hello, you wonderful folk." Chris Duque, thank you for joining us, sir. Sammy says, "Roger!" The exclamation points. You must have liked your stuffed character there in the back.
Yes.
Ann says, "I see Roger back there." Yep, we already saw that for sure. Sean says, "There was a lot of energy in the lines of the roughs that gets lost in the cells."
Right.
So he's must be speaking your language. And
right.
Real quick, Bill, before we wrap this up, as far as this favorite character, the last one was American Dad. Who's your favorite character on American Dad?
It's hands down Roger.
Yes. The alien.
Yeah. I've been taking as much Roger as I can over the last 15 years doing this. If it's a really tough sequence or a musical, I'm taking it if it's Roger. I want as much of the Roger acting as possible that I can do. So there are, the three best? I would say Roger and Cartman are the two best. Chris, that's the two greatest animated characters in the last 20 years.
Now, what did they do to show with Roger, Brian, and Cartman?
Brian doesn't hold a candle.
Oh, I kind of like Brian. Fine, Stewie.
Well, they killed Brian off at one point, Kevin, and replaced him with another dog.
Yeah, it didn't really make the show worse.
Yeah, I mean, some people cared, some people didn't. But Roger, that would be a tough one. Chris says he hopes that real aliens are like Roger. That would be hilarious.
Yes.
Now,
that's true.
Roger was
like a xenomorph.
Roger was a play on a character from. He was an actor.
Yes.
What was his name?
I don't know. He was on the Hollywood Squares a lot.
Paul Lynde, right?
Either him or one other guy, but yes, Paul Lynde for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Paul Lynde. My sister was my oldest sister Diana was in love with Paul Lynde. By the way, she had no idea. But
she's in love with that guy.
She was in love with him, and she was like, "I'm going to marry him someday." Again, he was
always frowning.
She had no idea, so
okay,
that would not have worked out in her favor.
If anybody wants to see what Roger's predecessor was, just look up a video of Paul Lynde. Man, it's dead on.
It is.
Especially the early Rogers are definitely dead on.
Yeah. Definitely. Like when you first watch it, you're like, "Oh my God, that's totally Paul Lynde." Yeah. Yeah, for those that get it, I mean, it is a bit dated, so you have to be, a little bit older to understand it, or just go back and check it out.
Paul Lynn was born in Ohio, by the way.
I'll be dang, I did not know that.
Yeah, Mount Vernon, Ohio.
That's not terribly far from where I'm from, actually.
Yeah, interesting.
Go figure.
Oh, that's why that factoid came up. Gotcha.
No, I had no idea. I didn't do the relation. I don't know. No idea. Okay, so Kevin, you had a question about timing or something?
Yeah, because I'm looking at his credits. I'm just curious about. I'm always like getting deep into the process of how animated shows are made. So
yeah,
I don't know if you're still a timing supervisor. So explain to me, what do you do as a timing supervisor?
Bill, you also provided me with some pictures, so we can go over that too as well. I'll bring those up.
All right. So before we show the pictures, so the timers that I'm just supervising was until this year, because I wanted to spend more time with my family and the shop. I was supervising for about 12 years. I stepped down to be a timer, and Shane Curry is now the timing supervisor. So what that is we are the people that study motion. So we actually make the blueprint of how to tell Korea, who actually animates the show. We tell them on the blueprint of how to animate the show based on motion. So there's a few levels here. There's designers, create the look of the show. Storyboard artists will do the main motions of the show. And then the animators or the timers are the ones that do the pacing of each move. If somebody's really angry, they snap it. If they're drunk, they kind of, make the wobble. The jobs of TV have become more segmented than the features. So we are a cog and wheel. We are the people that study the motion, and to me, the most honorable job of all of it, which is the actual animation. That is our job. So if you want to bring up the first two, storyboard 1 and 2.
Okay, let me grab those. Take a second. Okay, storyboard 1 should be on the screen.
That's what we get. So that's not an animated show at all, but you get the gist. And you see a character move a little bit, but there's no way to get from point A to point B, and that's where we come in. And storyboard 2, same kind of thing.
Yep, that's up.
He gets yeah.
So we got storyboard 1 and 2 up on the screen for you.
Right. So you see the drawings, but how does it go from that one drawing to the other drawing? And we tell Korea, hey, it needs 2 drawings to get, or 3 drawings to get in between this one to this one. And the more drawings you put in, the slower it is. The less drawings you put in, the faster it is. So all these kind of like fast and slow moves are based off of how many drawings you put in between those 2 main drawings.
For him to get where his hands are on his lap, like this, and he's just looking forward with a straight look on his face, to the end on the final one where he's grinning and he has his hands like this, like oh boy. Yes. There's just 2 movements in between that first shot and that fourth shot, correct?
Yeah.
Huh. So this is a fast one then.
It's like this.
So he's basically just sitting there and then he goes, oh boy, like that, right?
Right.
Okay.
And there's like 4 drawings between that, but we have to know how fast that is, just in our heads.
Wow.
We don't have any immediate gratification. We're just really good, educated guessers of how it's going to look when it comes back. And we send it to Korea. We tell them how many drawings, and we separate things. Like the eyes will go up in 1 drawing, but our hands will come up in 4. So we'll separate all that. It gets much more complex, but that's the real basics of it. We can do we add a lot of emotion to the characters. We listen to the track. And, if it's not in the storyboard, we'll add all this little extra facial stuff and hand stuff to make it better. So everybody's doing their part, piece by piece. And if you want to pull up the sheet number 1, it shows you how complex this show can be. It can get really complex.
Sean has a question real quick. He says, how much freedom do you get with the movement between frames? It
varies from production to production, but we have a lot of freedom. So really, we're not the timers have been so good on American Dad that they don't get monitored very much or at all. So there's been a lot of good people there. We have a lot of freedom to move stuff around, to make things funnier. We're always just trying to make things funnier with movement.
All right, I've got sheet number 1 up for you there, Bill. Sheet number 1 is up.
Right. So this is the stuff this is the actual kind of blueprint that we send to Korea. And each one of those little spaces is a frame of film called an exposure sheet. 3 bars is a second. And every one of those little tick marks on that sheet is we're asking Korea to do a drawing. It's very hard to understand, but it's a language on its own.
Yeah.
Like music.
Yes. It's like you would never know what a piece of music looks like by looking at a musical sheet.
Right.
Like a composer puts down. But in their head, they've created it and plotted it down.
I remember.
And then other people play it.
I remember
and
when
that's the same as an animation exposure sheet.
I remember when I tried out for my first musical. It was Man of La Mancha, and I was auditioning. I don't even know if I mentioned who I wanted to be. I was just auditioning in general and just wanted a role, and I sang Man of La Mancha. I'm certain, I am Man of La Mancha. The da 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 da. You know what I mean? Like, and then so I was doing that, and I did not realize at the time that I had to be able to learn to read musical notes, so I could know where the song goes and follow it. And I, instead of like trying to do my homework, I just said, well, I'll just follow the piano. When I was done auditioning, I apologized to everybody in the room and then left quickly. And I did get cast the only non-singing part.
Were you a tree?
No, I was the captain of the Inquisition.
Oh.
Yeah. I was mean. I was a mean son of a bitch.
See, that fits you. That fits you.
Oh, thanks, Kevin. Appreciate that.
Working character actor role.
Yeah. Chris has a comment real quick. He says, the Short Box crew should do a broadcast podcast as cartoons one time. The entire broadcast should be animated with cartoon renditions of y'all, or maybe a broadcast using rotoscoping. Yeah. That would take a long time.
Idea.
That'd take a long time and probably quite a bit of money. So
might be a year.
Yeah. But it would be cool. Chris, I do have a few animated drawings of myself from a few people over the years, so I can show those to you sometime.
Will, what's the average length of time to produce one episode?
So we overlap 10 episodes at a time. So we only go through that. We go through that whole process twice, right? Twice a year. But it takes from beginning of writing to air 10 months per episode.
Bill, I pulled up sheet number 2 for you if you wanted to talk about that.
It was just
same thing,
showing you the different things on there. They're all kind of the same. I just gave you a few.
All right.
I can't imagine anybody would want to see more.
You know what?
This is fascinating. This is interesting.
Bill, I can guarantee you that Sean is very fascinated with this. And in fact, I think, Sean, at some point, it might be a good idea for you to come into the shop and talk to Bill just for a moment. And, maybe even show him a little bit of your work and stuff. Sean's very talented, Bill. He's very, very talented. Okay. And he's got...
This is just a physical representation, but the principles behind it have nothing to do with the next sheet, an exposure sheet. They apply to all different forms of animation. So that's just the putting down on paper what's in your head,
Gotcha.
So, I was going to say something else.
Michael Peterson says it's definitely cool. Thank you for joining us, Michael.
Okay.
Is this page 3?
Yes, this is page 3 that's now up on the screen, guys.
Yeah. So it's just constant over and over again. Everything that's like a frame, like a letter that's circled, represents a panel from the storyboard. So it'd be panel F.
Wow.
That is it on that frame. That is where that panel hits.
And somebody follows this.
The Koreans follow it. Yes. They don't know English. That's how detailed we have to be. Is they don't know English.
Oh wow.
So we have to give them every mouth movement. If you look to the middle part.
Okay.
There's a code that's phonetic. That reads out a line, and then there's the mouth placement movements in letters.
Oh my!
For every frame.
God.
You see, it really is like music, where it's like a universal language, so they can follow along, even if they don't speak the original language where it came from.
So you watch a
So that's why
cartoon.
timers are important.
You watch a cartoon, and you really don't understand how much work goes into these things. You know.
Yes. This is the magic elves that make magic happen. They don't. This is the pulling back of the red curtain, basically, to see how the mechanics of how this stuff is done. It's very technical, and it can be, but it's also very creative at the same time being technical.
And very meticulous too.
Yeah,
John,
it's not just a system. You can adjust it as much. It's kind of like how they say math is creative.
Yeah,
that's how this.
Yeah, because if you gave me this sheet, I would not. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, what? Is this like a table setting for a wedding? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't know. I'd have no idea. I'd be so lost. Sean says that would be awesome. I would come in and talk Flight of Dragons.
Flight of Dragons.
Sean, I'd love to be there for that. I think the three of us just talking. Well, Bill, have you seen Flight of Dragons? I don't think I asked.
I have not. Remember we were talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta play it up on the big screen at the shop.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah, I have the Blu-ray now, so I could definitely bring that in. We can watch it.
I will bring in my most nostalgic one, which is Rock and Rule.
I've not seen that.
That's the one that nobody's seen that I love.
Okay.
It is a rock musical from '79 or '80 with Debbie Harry, Lou Reed, Earth, Wind and Fire.
Really?
And yes,
I've never heard of that.
Yes, and it's magical.
Was it produced by Heavy Metal?
It got that vibe. It was right after it.
Was it? Okay.
'77 from Heavy Metal, I think, and it was produced by Nelvana.
I can never get out of my head. I could never get out of my head with Heavy Metal the sex scene that they put in there with John Candy doing the voice of one of the characters.
Oh my lord!
And I was like, this is something I don't want to be a part of. Like,
the guy that wrote the book that made me come to LA, that was the guy that worked for me. Animated Tarna.
Really?
That was his claim to fame.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
You pervert.
Walter says, how important is learning to speak Korean in animation?
Absolutely zero.
Apparently not. Yeah, now that we've gone over this.
That studio does what you tell them. I mean, if you wanted to go over and be a Korean supervisor, if you want to be an overseas animator, and at some point that was the bank position. If you really learned Korean and went over there, you were top dog. For sure.
Ann says, I'm still bitter Tarna didn't have proper armor.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And Michael Peterson says...
I'll talk to Milt about it. Sorry.
Michael Peterson says, so the character does the correct mouth movement on screen. So, in essence, yeah, right? I mean, that's what...
Yes, we tell them where to put the mouth.
So, yeah, it basically... Because sometimes in animation, you often wonder, are you just having them... And then you put the words in, and, you know, it's like, oh, that looks like it would make sense. But
it's a separate job on most productions, a lip assigner.
Wow.
It's called.
That's crazy.
So almost like you try to get the lip syncing?
Yes, and there are good lip assigners, and there are bad lip assigners, and you can tell.
Huh.
And we know all the good and the bad. We know the bad.
They know the bad. So real quick, Bill, I want to bring up a few... I'd ask you for some personal photos. And you graciously gave me some of these photos, you know, with storyboards and stuff like that, but not much from the personal files. So I perused your Facebook, which is very sparse as well, and was able to find one photo of you. Looks like you were a little bit younger here, from Bucky's books.
I don't see those photos, by the way.
I know you can't see them because they're on the screen, but everybody that's in the chat can see, and it's just you standing in front of. It looks like it might be one of your earlier conventions. You with a little sign that says Bucky's Books, and you've got just one wall rack, and then some short boxes or long boxes sitting in front of you, and you're just standing there all proud. So it looks like it's one of your earlier convention days, I would imagine.
Yeah, it was like 4 years ago.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. I've aged really badly.
Now your hair's much shorter in this.
Don't say that.
Your hair's much shorter.
35.
But yeah, that was pretty cool. Like it's very solo when you're doing that stuff. You're just you're on your own. You're just creating stuff out of nothing. It's like the beginning of There Will Be Blood and the guy's in the well, just digging in there.
Yeah.
That's how it feels when you're putting together a convention setting. You're just in the garage every day.
I've got another photo of you here, buddy. Apparently, you were on an episode of 24. Bill Buchanan was on an episode of 24. So
24.
Yeah, with Kiefer Sutherland. So congratulations.
I was not on 24.
Oh no. Okay. Well, let me.
But yeah, I was on 24.
Let me pull up another photo then. Let's see. Oh, this one. I wanted to congratulate you on this as well. It looks like that you had you were on the Fair Game podcast, number 271. And you were surrounded by stuffed cows, it looks like, and you're bald. So, no? Not you?
And a goatee.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. It's a kids' celebration episode, apparently.
I can't even see the photo, man.
Wait, I got another one. Wait, I think this one's you.
Was that another Bill Buchanan?
Yep.
Yeah.
Another Bill
is.
Buchanan.
Like one of the most common names of all time.
Oh, here's one. It's just a picture of a scary house, and in front of it says, "Beware Bill Buchanan." So, this could definitely be you. I mean...
Well, that's more appropriate. All my enemies out there.
And then I got one more here real quick. This was a fun one. It's a sketch. Someone did a little sketch art piece of you, or of a Bill Buchanan, which I just figured was you because I was just pulling pictures. You got a mustache, and looks like you have blonde hair. And you've got doe eyes, and you're wearing a nice little button-up blue shirt. And you look very happy. And
it looks almost kind of like one of those police sketches you would see when they're giving a description of
what?
Perpetrator.
This totally could be you. Look, I'll just put it over you. And there, go ahead and say, "Hi, I'm Bill Buchanan."
Hi, I'm Bill Buchanan.
Yeah, that's totally you.
Did you get it?
Yeah, spot on, dude. If we had somebody to animate the lips, that would be perfect.
You don't know my past.
All right.
Stuff looks like it should not be anywhere near a school zone.
Yeah, seriously.
Are you talking about my square here or the photo?
The photo.
I would hope the photo, yeah. After all these pictures, that we're getting a very good representation of you, though, Bill. This is great.
Your girlfriend's enjoying it in the comment section.
Yes. Giving you photos.
Yeah, Yules is definitely she's definitely enjoying these photos of you that we've captured here. I can send these to you later, Bill, if you would like to put these on your Facebook so people can get a proper representation of you. That way.
I get the gist.
Yeah. Oh, you're good. Okay. All right. Just making sure. Okay. All right.
Terrible.
All right. So we're winding down here. There was a thing I asked you earlier that we had mentioned. Your top 5 animated shows. Now, we went over that with Chris, and we went over that with Kevin, but we haven't gone over it with you. You've kind of hinted at a few things. By the way, Michael Peterson says, Bill Bunky says hi.
Hey, buddy. Michael.
And Sean, we're going to get to your question here in a moment. But first, I want to ask you your top 5 animated shows. So just go ahead and hit us with that.
Okay. I'm going to go with the movie first, which is Rock and Rule, like we talked about. You should all watch this.
Okay.
It's bizarre, but great. I'm not gonna give you all this. I've already mentioned a couple things. It does not go with shows. There are the things that made me an animator of who I am and that are my favorites. But as far as shows, I would go the first 16 episodes of Ren and Stimpy with John Kay, probably the greatest animated stuff in the history of animation. They just got it right on, especially a few episodes.
Do you have all the comic books in high grade?
No, because it wasn't John Kay. It was one of the. I think it was one of the artists from the show.
Okay.
But anything Bill Ward does, or Bill Ray. Sorry, Bill Ray. W-R-A-Y. He's done other books than Ren and Stimpy. Incredible, like Hellboy Jr.
Yeah.
That's a Bill Ray.
Okay.
And incredible artist. So I'll collect those guys. Or the Jimmy the Idiot books.
Does Bill work with Balthazar a lot, or no?
Not sure.
Okay, because Balthazar, I thought he was doing the Littlest Hellboy because he did the Teeny Titans or Teen Titans, a little animated comic, and then he did like the Shazam one, I believe. Did the stories for them. I didn't think he did the art, but it might be. It might be the same guy then. It might be Ray.
Okay. The other show, that's like, that's a gone show, but Rick and Morty is the greatest cartoon, in my opinion, that's ever been made that's still going. Like, without a doubt, the greatest writing, most epic TV show. We wait for it like no other show I've ever, a cartoon I've ever looked for.
Really?
So, and it's weird because it's not truly animated great, but it's still animated great in a different way. Like, not how I would do it, but it's have you guys watched it? It's like meta, man.
Yeah. Deep. I love Pickle Rick. They've had a few clone episodes, if I can recall, and I've enjoyed that. There's a lot to it, like when they went to the Mad Max kind of universe, so to speak. And I had a lot of fun with that.
Incredible.
Chris, do you watch Rick and Morty?
I've only seen a couple episodes of it.
I'm
honestly
surprised.
I liked what I saw. It's just, for the longest time, I didn't have cable or anything like that to be able to watch the show.
Yeah.
And so I was just randomly on my brother's house. And I was like, what is it? Oh, it's Rick and Morty. I've heard about this. And I enjoyed what I watched, and I'm actually going to planning on going back and watching the whole series because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth it, man.
By the way, Bill, Sean says, the Ren and Stimpy was great. I found some Jimmy the Idiot Boy comics at the Iliad Bookshop, and it had Spumco employee letters and order sheets tucked inside.
Yes.
Interesting.
How about that? That's kind of
Sean, do you still have it?
Yeah.
Please bring it by.
There you go. Yeah, Sean. Sean, yeah.
That's where you're going to find them. You're going to find them in L.A., in an L.A. bookstore.
That's true. And the Iliad,
right
the Iliad's a great bookshop in the Valley, so it would make sense because like Nickelodeon animation and things like that, all that stuff's over towards Burbank, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
And Spumco is too. It's still in the Valley as well.
Okay. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Oh, Sean says he still does have it, and he'll bring it in.
Yeah. Just for history's sake.
Yeah.
So those guys in the beginning, I know it was very tumultuous with Ren and Stimpy, but that's kind of what makes the story great. None of those people should be in society at all, but they made the greatest animation.
Yeah.
And there was so much drama. So that's cool. Rick and Morty is just a tour de force. And my third was Bob's Burgers because I love anything that creator does. What's his name? I've been blanking a lot tonight, but the creator, he did Home Movies, and he also did Dr. Katz.
Oh, Dr. Katz. Yeah, that was for Comedy Central. Was that for Comedy Central, Dr. Katz?
Yeah. So that's his evolution was Dr. Katz, and then he did Home Movies with the kid that did all the always shot home movies of his family.
Okay.
And
Lauren Bouchard.
Yes.
Nice.
He's got a certain dialogue style that nothing beats it. So when the characters talk over each other, but with really good dialogue, I love that. And that's Bob's Burgers. And that would be my third favorite cartoon for sure.
Bill, do you enjoy his new one, Central Park?
I haven't seen it yet, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm worried I'm not going to like it.
I'm a big fan of the show. I really like it, but again, it's almost all Broadway actors. So for me, as a theater actor, I'm big fan of it. Leslie Odom Jr. from Hamilton leading it. And it's very, very similar humor-wise to Bob's Burgers. I really enjoy it.
Is he directing the dialogue like how the other ones are, like kind of talking over each other, stuff like that?
There's some of that, and just some crazy characters. Like they have Stanley Tucci playing this 80-year-old white woman, and then you have Daveed Diggs playing a 70-year-old white woman. And so it's just crazy characters, stuff like that, stuff you get in all of his animated shows, which is really fun.
Great casting.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have seen that coming at all.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I don't really have anything after American Dad. That's my fourth favorite. Sorry, guys. King of the
Do you
Hill is
care?
not on the list.
Do you care for any of the Japanese, animated shows over the past, like Cowboy Bebop, or don't really care for those?
I respect it. Just never a fan.
Never a fan.
The story wasn't deep enough for me. I like Miyazaki stuff. I do like some Miyazaki stuff for sure.
That's layered and heavy. Like, it has to be the right one for me. Like, Castle in the Sky. Castle in the Sky is beautiful, and I love it. And it's originally titled, I think, Laputa in Japan, I think. But here in the U.S. it was Castle in the Sky. That's my favorite one of all time. And then they did the one. Jesus, what's the one? It was after Kiki's.
Nausicaa?
No, it was after Kiki's Delivery Service. It's the one
Spirited Away?
Yeah, that's it. The one everybody fawns over. Spirited Away.
That's a good one.
I couldn't get into it as much because, for me, like, if it's too much about, like, you have to be in servitude. You have to take care of things and stuff like that. If it gets too, I don't want to say Japanese, but if it gets too into the culture of, like, you must take care of everything or everybody, or your elders, or not so much your elders, but it's like,
the monster.
As the woman, you have to take care of the man, and you have to cook, and you have to clean, and things like that. That, to me, I start to like just check out.
Just because you think it's socially wrong.
I just think it's I think it's a little. They still lean a little too sexist to me in some of the storytelling. But like Pollo, I found to be adorable. I've never wanted ham so much in my life than when I saw Pollo. I think that's a
Princess Mononoke.
That's a sad one to me. It's super sad.
But great.
Yeah, but also great. The Firefly one, I think, was good.
Nobody saw.
They did one about a cat. Was it Totoro?
Totoro, yeah.
Yeah, Totoro, which is trippy. Like, I feel like if I was tripping balls, that movie would be amazing.
That's a mushrooms movie.
There we go. Yeah.
Not LSD, because that's going to take you to a really weird place.
Yeah.
I like the one with the pig that's a pilot. I can't remember the name of it, but...
Oh, the pig. Porco Rosso.
Yeah, I remember that one. I remember really enjoying that
Porco Rosso, I think. Porco Rosso, I think is what it was. Yeah.
I think those are great movies for kids.
Yeah. Yeah, my niece Taylor, if you're watching, by the way, sorry I'm mentioning you, I'm going to embarrass you, but she loved Kiki's Delivery Service. Like, she wanted to watch it all the time. And I was like, Oh, yeah, we're watching this one again. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, well, after the fifth one.
Because,
you guys got to understand, as an animator, I think any animator watching an animated movie, it's very hard to enjoy it all the way through. Because you're judging, you're saying I wouldn't have done that, and then but I'll tell you, when it's good and you're an animator and it's really good to you, it's like the greatest thing in the world. You're like, I can't believe how it just hits your soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
the good stuff that I've said, there's just nothing like it in the world. I don't know if there's a feeling I can describe for you.
So what's your favorite animated movie of all time?
Huh?
What's your favorite animated movie of all time that you just feel is just absolutely gorgeous, just touches your soul?
I mean, the one I like to watch is that Rock and Rule. I could watch that. I don't think it's the greatest animated movie of all time. It's just my favorite.
Yeah.
And I just
gotcha.
Usually every second of it's all hand done.
That's the same way with me with Flight of Dragons. While it's not like really well done animation style, it just hits all the right notes for me. And it's one of my favorites of all time for that reason, because it resonated with me. I wore the VHS tape out, and my dad was elated when that happened. He was so happy, and then I cried for days until they...
He was so happy when it happened?
And yeah, he was super happy because he was tired of it. And then I cried so much that they went out and got me...
How do you wear out a VHS? I've never worn out a VHS.
How is that possible? Dude, I watched it like 5 times a day. Like, I was obsessed. Like, I was like, Flight of Dragons, Mom, Flight of Dragons. And my dad's like, oh, God, pull one more goddamn dragon. I'm going to lose my mind. And then the tape broke, and he's like, yes!
I'm sure you asked for a new one.
He to his credit, he got me another one. He didn't want it. That's the sign of a good father. He didn't want it, but he got it for me anyway because he knew it made it happy. So that's my dad has always been a very good father. So I was very, very happy to get that tape back in my life, and now I have it on Blu-ray. And guess what? When I went home last year to visit, I took it with me, and we all sat down and watched it.
He had plenty of time away from it.
Yeah. He was fine. He was like, yeah, this is okay. It's been enough time,
Yeah.
But I swore when I looked over, like out of the corner of my eye, when the theme song came on, he was like, I could see his lips move, like he was singing it almost. Like he was like, Ride of Dragons. Like, swore I saw that.
Wow.
Yeah. So, really quick, we got a couple questions here before we wrap up that I want to get answered. Sean, thank you for joining us, Sean. He says, any animation sacred cows that you don't like? So any, like, I think he means just, like, they're supposed to be, like, the best. So for me, like, Spirited Away, for example, everybody loves it, but I don't really like it. So something like that for you. Why don't we all answer this one, since I already have. Chris, Kevin, and Bill, you guys go ahead and think about it.
I hate Ghost in the Shell.
Okay.
When it came out on VHS, and I would call it crap in the box.
All right.
So I know a lot of people really like Ghost in the Shell. It's the only example I can imagine that all of my friends liked it, and I couldn't stand it. There.
Yeah, that's
Next.
good. Kevin, how about you?
I'm thinking. Go to Chris. Come back to me.
Okay.
No, don't come to me. Don't come to me. I'm not sure yet.
Okay, so let me just mention some things in the chat while you guys are thinking about it. Michael Peterson says, anyone remember The Critic? Yes, I have it on DVD.
Yeah, that was good.
One of my favorites.
It was great. Hated it. Sean says, home movies is top 5 all-time for me. They had their first ever SDC panel at the last Comic-Con.
No kidding.
Yeah. Evan says, Ninja Scroll, exclamation point.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Sean is...
That's a good one.
Sean says, awesome. What? Spirited Away is probably my favorite. Sorry, Sean. I get it. Sammy says... He said Spirited Away was probably his favorite. Sean's.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Sammy says Totoro was one of my favorites as a kid. Howl's Moving Castle was... Yeah, Howl's is good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And Kiki's awesome, she says. Enrique says that he put that movie... Already added rock and roll to my shopping cart, is what he says.
Yeah.
And he also says, have you guys ever watched Mike Judge Presents Tales from the Tour Bus?
No.
Mm-mm.
I have. And it is phenomenal. Bill, since you haven't seen it, it's a must. It is really...
Why am I not being called when these things are being made?
It is really good. Like, there's a story, and correct me if I'm wrong, Enrique, but it's about George Jones. And it's about him getting hammered all the time, and he got so hammered that they took his keys away. So then he drove his lawnmower to the liquor store to buy liquor, but it was like miles away. So they caught up with him, and he had left the blades down, and he was just kicking out rocks and shit out onto the freeway because he was in the grass alongside the freeway, driving drunk on a lawnmower.
Yeah, that's the movie. That whole.
And they animated it. They just animate stories of like country western singers and rock singers and stuff, and really dumb shit that they've done, like stories from roadies and stuff that they're telling about these people. It's phenomenal. Like, I love it. My good buddy Matthew Hilton turned me on to that, and we watched all of them. They're great. My mom says Wall-E. Says she loves Wall-E and Up, and she also confirms that yes, I did cry when Flight of Dragons tape broke.
Aww.
And Evan wants to know how the song went. Evan, I kind of already sang it with the Flight of Dragons. There you go. Beautiful, right? Yeah. Thank you.
The voice of an angel.
Yeah, I know, right? And Sean says, have you all seen Don Hertzfeldt's Rejected? No, I don't think I have. No, but it sounds like it's something I need to see. Okay, so...
We have to make our own shopping list here.
Yeah, I think so. Chris, Kevin, did you come up with your name?
Something that everybody likes that you don't like.
Yeah.
I mean... Like, people say, come on,
what were you doing this whole time?
Beavis and Butthead.
I'm still thinking what's
Beavis and Butthead? Okay.
Beavis and Butthead. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's because of my age. When it was on, I was younger.
Uh-huh.
And I just didn't get it, I guess, maybe. But I haven't gone back and watched it as an adult. But I remember I was like, oh, God, you like Beavis and Butthead? That show is so dumb.
You need to watch that first season again.
That's a good one.
The stories in Beavis and Butthead in that first season that were the cutaways from them being on the couch, they're so good. I couldn't believe it. So give it a shot as an adult again.
Yeah, I want to try it out because they're redoing it. And so, if I like it, I want to get into the redux of it that they're doing. So.
All right. Oh, Enrique
There's a
says...
show on Nickelodeon, Doug, that was kind of popular that I didn't care for.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never got cable when I was a kid, so none of those I could watch. So, like, Ren and Stimpy, I don't know it. Like, I didn't watch it. The closest I ever got to Ren and Stimpy was Two Stupid Dogs.
That is not like Ren and Stimpy.
That was but that was the closest I had. Because, there was a stupid dog and a cat, and with, you know what I mean? Like, and I was like, well, I guess this is kind of like Ren and Stimpy. So I was really out of the loop. I wasn't when kids at school would be talking about stuff, I couldn't relate because I had no idea because we just didn't have cable. So I was like, and we physically couldn't get cable put over to our house. That's because we lived in the country, like we couldn't get cable over to where we were. So yeah, so we just had an antenna and we could get what we could, like network television and stuff. Pretty much, buddy. Pretty much.
Little hasty.
Yep. Michael Peterson confirms. He says definitely Don Hertzfeld's Rejected is crazy. So we're definitely going to have to check that out, I think, guys. That's going to be on the list. But I think, anything else you want to add, Bill, before we come to a close?
No, I mean, it was, I could say, no. I think we covered it all.
All right.
I want to say something prophetic at the end, but it's just going to come off like an asshole. So I have to say thank you to everybody that decided to join, and it's been a fun career.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Sounds like a fun time. And thank you so much for being on, Bill. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah.
And the only thing prophetic I'll say is the comic store is more fun. I have to say it.
Okay. Owning and working at a comic shop and just being around it is more fun.
Yeah.
You know what?
Thought I'd say it.
I can't argue with you. Every job I've ever had, I still enjoy collecting comic books more than all of that.
Yeah.
Which is why I still do it. So I feel like I'm with you on that.
And the camaraderie.
Yeah.
Like mine.
Oh, Sean says, thanks, Bill. Thanks, guys. Thank you for joining us, Sean. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
And definitely you'll have to join me at the shop sometime, and we'll go over and see Bill and talk animation and stuff, and you can show him the book and all that. That'll be a fun time, I think.
Yeah.
It'll be a real good time. Evan says, here. Shane says, we'll need to speak Tuesday morning, Bill.
No.
Uh-oh. You're in trouble. He's like, why wasn't this your number one on this net? Like, yeah, I get it. Sean says he's definitely down. So thank you. Thank you all. Again, we do this live podcast every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time to 9 p.m. It's most Mondays. Not every, but most. YouTube Live under the Rumble Spoon Productions page on YouTube. If you don't see our link, just wait till 7:30, 7:40-ish at the latest. On YouTube, on our page, Rumble Spoon Productions, it'll pop up that there's a new post. You can click on that. It takes you right to the live feed. We do have audio podcasts that are pretty much every week. Usually on Fridays, we'll premiere them. There's a lot of diverse fun. Sometimes it's just an interview segment with me interviewing a guest. Other times it's me, Kevin, and our silent partner, Jarrett, just bitching about everything that creases our pages when it comes to comic books. We have a really good time. Sammy says, thank you, Bill. My mom says, thank you all. Love you, son. Oh, thank you, Mom. Love you, too. Love you, Dad.
Thank you.
We also have a couple sponsors now. We have one of Half's Hot Sauce. They are an Ohio-based hot sauce company. You can check them out, halfshotsauce.com. They have a great variety of hot sauces. Everybody can attest to it. Kevin and myself that have had it here We both love them. They're very good hot sauces. Highly recommend them. And we do have a surprise sponsor that's coming that we're working on. We're brewing up something really cool, guys, with our new sponsor. So it's going to be very exciting when we make this announcement. So keep tuned for that. Let's see. My mom says, "Night, gentlemen." Maria says, "Fun show. Have a great night, everyone." So thank you guys in the chat. Thanks again to Bill. Thank you, Chris, for being a guest again on here for us. We always appreciate it. Kevin,
please subscribe.
Thank you for showing up. Yes, get on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, please. That's how we can show
tell your friends,
investors
tell
and
your
things
family, tell your enemies,
that
tell
we
everybody.
have followers and that we have people that are interested in our stuff. That's great. So thank you. Bill works at he does animation, but he also works at We Can Be Heroes comic shop in Chatsworth, California. It's at, what's the address?
20936 Devonshire Street.
There we go.
There we go.
Right by the McDonald's. So grab yourself
make sure you like family
a milkshake and a cheeseburger, and then come over to the shop and say hello. Grab some books, but don't grab the books while you're eating the cheeseburger. It'll make a mess. Let's see. Wink, wink. Night, guys. Ricky Barnett says, "LOL, nice pun." Yes, definitely. Thank you, Ricky. That's it. So good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And
Thank you all.
we don't see you out and about anytime soon. Perhaps we will see you
at the sweet, precious, effervescent, humble, and most righteous comic book shop.
Good night, everybody. Yeah, stop that.